Welcome back, everybody. It's your time head up on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. Lots of people around here, they're on break right now, getting some food to plow through this day 2, talking about the modern learner here at InsightsEDU 2025, a conference put on all about enrollment and marketing by Education Dynamics, a great and amazing partner of the EdUp Experience. We're honored here to be interviewing innovative leaders across the space from various universities and departments and roles. And I've got a very interesting guest with me today. I have to intro him, and I saw his name, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get this right, this correct music for his intro. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. He's Dr. Fritz Vandover. He's a distributed learning program analyst at the University of Minnesota. Fritz, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's a small story. My son is he plays cello, and his orchestra just played that song Tuesday night at their little concert.
Hey,
yeah. I watched it from a lift. Well, by video, by Zoom, as he was on his way.
That's awesome, man. So thanks for being here. First tell us what a distributed learning program analyst is for University of Minnesota.
It's not a very good job description, is it?
Well, the title's awesome.
We're excited to announce the first ever, first of its kind higher education podcast conference, brought to you by Edu Alliance, the EdUp Experience, and Podium. This is happening Saturday, July 12th at the University of Illinois Chicago campus. This is an in-person event, one day only, the first of its kind. This is for people working in and around higher education who are interested in starting a podcast, who may have a podcast, want to learn more about podcasting. So if you want to be there, please go to higheredpodcon.com. That's higheredpodcon.com to learn how you can get your early bird registration, see who the keynote will be, and how you can submit proposals to be a part of this amazing inaugural conference. So that, again, go to higheredpodcon.com to learn more. Do you want to get invites to special events? Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes episodes, and original content? Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Well, you can go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and become a subscriber today.
It's got to be long. If you work in a university, you got to have a long title.
So you're a DLPA. Just tell people that, and it sounds super important.
So the Office of Distributed Learning is a central office that supports the development and scaling of online and hybrid programs at the university. So I have a 2-part role. Part of my role is to manage our university's Coursera relationship. So
Coursera?
Yeah. So amazing. To develop the non-credit and even the credit side, if we get there, the offerings we have. So all identifying opportunities, helping get them built out and launched and on their way. So that's one of my charges. The other charge is to run what we have, which is called Online Program Support Services, OPSS. So that is to really get at the heart of our mission, which is to work with units around the system, not just the Twin Cities flagship campus, but to work around the system to help units figure out online programs, hybrid programs, and even what we call distributed. So, let's say one campus wants to do we want to do a 2+2 program in something. You do 2 years on Twin Cities campus, and you take your other 2 years at the Duluth campus or something. So that's what we call distributed. So there's, on-ground components as well.
Interesting. So let's start with the Coursera part. I mean, this is a big part of what's happening across higher ed.
Yes.
Is post-secondary education in whatever form a student decides to get there.
Yep. We
have alternative credential. You can call it what you will. I think non-credit is the way we say it internally in conversation, but externally, people know it as micro-credentials or alternative pathways or whatever.
Yeah.
Growing rapidly, how do you decide? How does this happen to where you work with Coursera to put up a course? Is there a certain demand that you measure first before you do it? Is there a faculty member that comes to you and says, Fritz, I need this non-credit program?
It's actually all of the above. So it's really fascinating, and this is where Coursera is a great partner in this. So it can go both ways. So what happens right now is we have a lot of strengths. We're a Twin Cities campus, but we have a big ag school in our other campus. So, we try to leverage what we have already, our College of Science and Engineering, the College of Food, Agricultural, Natural Sciences. So we try to leverage those strengths, and we go to Coursera and say, hey, you were looking for expertise in this area. Here's what we have. Match, like, a specialization it's about a 3-credit course, and we propose to them, look,
Yep.
here's what we could do, and then they do an assessment of it. Oh yeah, we think this would fit well. We estimate this kind of enrollment, this kind of gross revenue. So they give us a very rough kind of a
Like a business plan,
a red,
essentially.
yellow, green.
Yeah.
And then we know, okay, we can move forward. It doesn't for us, it doesn't have to make money. There's mission fit things we want to put in Coursera, so we'll launch it anyway, even if it's not generating a bunch of revenue. Just it's a mission fit.
Yeah.
But it just gives us a read on what we can anticipate that we can then communicate to that program or to that department. And then, from there, like, we line the resources up to get it built, instructional design, production, video production, all that fun stuff. So it's a good system that's working out so far for us.
Tell them like it is.
I will.
One of the difficult parts of higher education, by and large, writ large, is alternative credentials, micro-credentials, and so on, anything that's not a non-credit basis, being accepted for credit.
Yeah.
Is this an issue that you have to deal with, or are you dealing with it one way? You're just taking these non-credit courses out to the market and saying, take these courses, and somebody else deals with it?
No, so Coursera's its own thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to assess the opportunity for, if we're going to offer, the university's going to offer a non-credit. So our College of Continuing and Professional Studies, they're really good at doing this, figuring out what kinds of non-credit certificates, micro-credentials, whatever you want to call them, what could resonate out in the market. They work with Eddie to figure those kinds of things out. So we do provide support for that, but it's hard to assess that. You can't just go to, at the moment, like Lightcast Analyst doesn't really have that baked in.
Right.
Beta and all that kind of fun stuff is coming for that, but it's hard. So, and you're talking about accepting non-credit credentials or experiences. We're working on we have a re-enrollment pilot for SCNC students.
What's an SCNC?
Some credit, no credential.
Just got to make sure you get the acronyms on it.
Yeah, got to get inside baseball. So we have a pilot right now for we're enrolling students who left the University of Minnesota in the last, let's say, call it 8 years, to see if they're interested in coming back. And it's a pilot because we're offering different kinds of set of supports, very low tuition, our lowest tuition we offer in the system. So see what works. But part of this is we're working on drafting a new credit for prior learning policy to pilot to see, does that open things up for these students who have lots of experiences that just may not have credits attached to them. Because
You just made the list.
Yeah, they're often, they're deep into their careers, but
That's
they want to
right.
finish this thing off. So we're trying to see what we can do that fits with current best practices and strong practices, also aligns with university policy that exists. So
I'm glad you talk about this, and it's a real travesty out there when somebody has these experiences across their career, and higher ed doesn't have to have a way to assess that. And now the student is expecting some level of assessment. Like, they're going, hey, I've got this, and do I get credit for this or not? And can you tell me? Okay, if the answer is no, but I need you to tell me yes or no. I see it in the military most often, where somebody's like a medic in the military, and then they got to go to college, and somebody says, well, you don't get credit for that. And you go, wait, there's a wartime medic? It kind of feels like that's worth a couple of credits here or there. So evaluating those policies is important, yet very complicated. You get a lot of cooks in the kitchen, as it were, and difference of opinions and so on. How do you navigate something like this? What's the secret?
In all these things in higher ed, institutions at some level are communities. So you have to build relationships. So I'm actually not leading this in our office. My colleague, Paula McDonald, she is the one. She's leading that some credit, no
Shout out to Paula. Make sure she doesn't jump off the cliff or something trying to lead this sucker.
No, she's doing great. She's spearheading this. We actually have a couple of cohorts that have come in. So she's the one driving that new policy draft. So it's giving us a lot of insights, because one thing we're asking is not really why they left, because we know they left. We're asking that. We're asking, what do you need to come back? Because by piloting this, we get a sense of these things, and then we can start to have conversations around the system, not just the Twin Cities campus, about what can we change to, first of all, facilitate people not leaving, but then facilitate them coming back and increasing the likelihood that they will, and increasing the likelihood that they'll finish, because you don't want them to drop out yet again.
Yeah, you don't want them to come back and drop out.
That's the double travesty for them.
100%.
Yeah. No one gets partial career credit for an unfinished bachelor's degree.
That's right. And it's like, Because there's so many students out there that have some credit and sometimes significant credit.
Oh, yeah. We're actually,
it's not like 2 or 3 credits.
I got a story for you. We were actually finding, because I did a lot of the data analysis for this project and I handed it off to Paula, but we are finding people who, we're finding people who had plenty of credits to graduate.
Yeah. Right.
They just never, they never signed up. Like you have to sign up. It's an opt-in to graduate in a lot of spaces. So this is where we can look, this is EDU wins. We're finding people that they're ready to go. We're just getting them packaged and graduated. So that's we're getting the low-hanging fruit now.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the tough ones, which are, they need specific things, whether it's in a major or gen eds or whatever. So.
And like we were saying, it's not a student who got 3 credits and dropped out. Yes, there are some. It's somebody with 30, with 60, with 90, with 75. I mean, it's they're so close. What happened?
Yes.
They're so close. A couple classes away, 3 classes, 2 classes, and then we lost them. And what happened? Those are really important questions for us to answer in the industry right now. If we're gonna improve the value and the relevancy for students, we have to finish them off. We got to get the ones that started to finish them off.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about the OPSS. What is this other half of your personality, Fritz?
Higher Ed PodCon is coming. Go to higheredpodcon.com. That's higheredpodcon.com to learn more. Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content, invites to special events, and more? Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Do you want to get all this while helping to sustain EdUp? Then go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and become a subscriber today.
Online program support services. So essentially, we are an internal resource for the whole system where we will pair up units. So they could be a college, they could be a campus, or it could be a department or a program. We'll take all comers.
Yep.
What we do is we pair them up with the resources they need and the services they need to figure out if there's an opportunity for their program. It could be a program that exists, it could be one that doesn't exist yet, etc. So and this is from soup to nuts. You need the initial market research. Should we even propose a bachelor's or a master's in something?
Right.
Or maybe they already have it. So we do opportunity assessment. Then we figure out, we verify the opportunity. Then we figure out the services they need, whether they're internal or external. So instructional design or marketing or adding faculty, et cetera, adding staff. We model it out for 10 years, do a 10-year pro forma to figure out what's this thing going to look like financially based on all the costs we're getting in. So marketing costs, cost of instruction, cost of support, paper clips, printed paper, whatever you want in that model. Let's make it as granular and detailed as possible. I gave a talk about this yesterday. And
paper clips for paper?
Well, look, anything that program needs to carry.
Yeah, that's right.
Professional development for faculty and staff.
Travel teeny, any kind of teeny.
We have ones with travel in there. So then what we do is then we get a sense of, okay, we know it can probably reach this level of enrollments. We provide capital to do it, and it's whatever it is to support. It could be, like I said, the marketing costs, personnel, et cetera. We provide capital to scale them up, and then we also bake in a repayment to us. We don't make any money on it, and we're a central service, so they don't have to pay for us, our staff time. They don't have to pay for any of that internal stuff. That's all central. So our time is, we're a service to the university. So even if there is no opportunity here, verifying that there's no cost to them necessarily, unless they need really deep research.
Is there a payback as the program is launched and evolves, and so because you're going to staff up and you're going to help with X, Y, and Z services?
Right. Yeah. So we and it's flexible. It could be depending if it's a high margin program, it could be a 3-year payback. It could be 6 if it's not high margin,
right,
or whatever. Or if it's a break even, look, we don't want to push you into the red,
right.
So we're gonna space this out over 7 years. It can be really whatever works because we're internal. We don't have a profit motivation. We would like to see a payback, and we will forgive off, depending on the program, we will forgive a very real chunk of that loan if it doesn't hit those enrollment goals.
Right.
We'll forgive up to 35-40% of that loan if it doesn't hit those numbers. So we have skin in the game. They also have skin in the game with what they.
But not everything hits its. I mean, sometimes things you're hopeful and the market changes underneath you, right?
Yeah, but we build on we take ideal, we take realistic enrollment projections, and then I discount those even further because if it's floating if it's hitting their metric, financial metric, could be big margin, break even, an acceptable loss.
Yeah.
We bake that in, and if at a discount that reasonable enrollment expectation, and then we're still working. Now we're in good. We feel like we're in a very defensible place. So then we take that to, we bake that into the MOU internally, show it to the dean, whoever else needs to see it. We sign off and we go.
Okay, memory. I'm gonna drop a name on you.
Drop it.
I need to make sure that I'm in the right. Shannon Bryant
doesn't
ring a bell. Wasn't she from the University of Minnesota?
Oh,
the workforce.
It's like a city. There's so many people. It's so,
I think. And we were talking about workforce. Going back to the Coursera piece. I mean, being able to push out courses. That students are they taking them more, these Coursera courses through the University of Minnesota or in conjunction with, and then coming into the university? Is it after they graduate? Is it a continuing ed piece? Like which way?
So
and double check my memory, Elvin.
Students at the University of Minnesota, any campus, student, staff, faculty, students, and staff can all take Coursera for Minnesota content. So our content, they can all take it for free. We're also part of a consortium of other Coursera institutions. It's upwards of 100, and they can take those courses for free. And those institutions can also take our content for free. So these are, the equivalent of 1 credit. They call them specializations.
Right.
About 3 credits of a 3-credit course equivalent. Now, then there's the whole rest of the Coursera catalog that, it's not free for University of Minnesota students.
Right.
And then our content is also available to the generic B to C market, the 160 plus Coursera, million plus Coursera users. So that's where we do generate some revenue. It goes back primarily to those.
And you push out to alumni too. Like, you want your alumni to come back and take stuff?
We're piloting a way for alumni to access it. The Alumni Association, if you're a life member, which is a nominal, I think it's a one-time cost, you do get free access to the Coursera for Minnesota catalog. So
Smart.
Right now, it's like 14 or 15 specializations. We're growing. We're going to probably add 5 this.
It's almost like a subscription model, like a one-time subscription payment, and you get access to the University of Minnesota catalog, and I can take these anytime.
Yeah, and then you get, as a life member, Alumni Association, you get other benefits, but, that's a pilot, so we're,
that.
There may be a future where it's available to all alumni, but we're just, we're dipping a toe into it, because we know that's helpful, because some of these are, there's ones about business analytics, and there's health and wellness ones that are very popular out in the generic global Coursera user population.
Interesting. I think there's I really like what you're talking about, that pilot program, because I think it's, and I talk about a lot, the whole Marriott rewards or hotel rewards things that happen, and we just don't do a good job of higher ed of when we're done staying somewhere, when we're done with that education, remarketing all the time to our alumni who eventually will want to come back for more and different types of education. And the hotels do a good job of doing that, right? Because they give us points. And you're like, why would I stay at this alternative hotel when I could get these points with this hotel chain I'm used to?
I'm laughing because I have a PhD. I don't want any more education. I think my wife would send me to the doghouse. But you're right. But
don't do that.
I always laugh when I get marketing in LinkedIn. Someone like, you'd be a great candidate. I'm like, ooh, I'm good. I'm all topped off. I'm good.
Yeah. I get those too, by the way. I think my wife would probably kill me too.
Oh, yeah.
I told her I was going to get my law degree, and she just blank stared me like I was going to, dump trash on the ground or something. But this important work that you're doing, I mean, how many students in the system? Like how many people are we talking about managing here?
I haven't looked at the institutional research dashboard in a little while here, but I mean, this head count, the University of Minnesota system is above 50,000 head count students in, say, academic year 2023.
Wow.
Which, we're into
growing,
24 now.
Plateauing. Like what's happening with enrollment? Do you have any idea how?
Yeah. I mean, we're a public institution. It's all out there. So I think we're about level, but then it changes by institution and by student type. So if you open up the hood of the Twin Cities campus, our FTE is about level or creeping up, which is great. But then if you disaggregate that, it's a lot of non-credit students. So the other populations are drifting a little, undergraduate, graduate student. So, I mean, it's nuanced.
Yeah. What else do you want to say about the University of Minnesota and your work as the Distributed Learning Program Analyst, better known as the DLPA?
Isn't that some acronym for some
DLPA, like an accountant, maybe?
No, like copyright thing. I feel like DLPA or isn't no whatever.
Yeah. There's a designated there's a DPO. I know that for international student recruitment.
Did you buy your tickets yet? Higher Education's first podcast conference is coming July 12th. Go to higheredpodcon.com, higheredpodcon.com. Get your tickets. Do you want to accelerate your professional development? Do you want to get exclusive early access to ad-free episodes, extended episodes, bonus episodes, original content? That's right, original content, invites to special events, and more? Do you want to get all this while helping to sustain EdUp? Then go to edupexperience.com. That's EDUP experience.com and subscribe today.
I mean, it's a very exciting time, and this is exactly the space I've wanted to be in for a long time. I was in educational technologies for 20 years, going back to the bad old days, early 2000s, 2001, when we built stuff.
Outstanding.
When there was no Canvas.
That's right. You
built your
framework.
LMS. Oh yeah, like this is before Moodle. So I was at the intersection of humanities primarily, but disciplines and teaching and technology and research for a very long time. When it was very satisfying. I worked with faculty for many, many years. But it's at a strategic level where I really feel like I'm having an impact. I could bring all of my knowledge and my doctoral background, my experiences from I've been at small liberal arts schools. I've been at a big, an R1 private, Washington University. I've been now at the University of Minnesota. I had a brief cup of coffee at a OPM for about a year and a half. So I feel like I can bring all this experience to bear in what I'm doing. It's fun, and I work in a great team.
That's awesome. You got great energy. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. He's Dr. Fritz Vandover, Distributed Learning Program Analyst, better known as the DLPA for the University of Minnesota. And you've just EdUp'd.